If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. Number one, it's free. Number two, there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. 3, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. 4, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in just one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. You won't be disappointed. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Chats and Vibes with Miss T, uncut and unscripted. Joining me on this night's episode is one of my, what I want to say, VIP. I'm going to have to get you a shirt, girl. Miss Danielle, who done been, I think on what, three or four? And Mr. William, who's back for his number 2 visit. Say hello, guys, out there to the folks in the land.
Hey, people in the land, you know, you're my OG, William, you'll get to that status at some point, baby.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get you a shirt, child. Yeah, I think I sent you a mug. I'm going to have to get you a shirt now.
Yeah, go on get it. You know I'll rock it.
I'm going to get you a shirt. So,
I'm glad to be back. Appreciate you having me.
Yes, and for those who don't know, Mr. William, he is the second half of Coffee and Apple Juice, the podcast, and
right.
Y'all better look him up. He look kind of he looking.
He looking like he looking.
He looking how he looking.
Y'all know that.
And the last time I know we chatted, you were single. Are you still single, William?
I'm still single.
All right, now y'all hear that? So
I'm still single. I mean, also, look, let me plug in for my sports fans. Also, do a sports podcast, Aries Talking Sports, with my co-host Reg, the Prime Minister. So shout out to him.
Hi, Reg.
Shout out, Reg.
Now is Reg single or he on that matrimony thing?
Nah, he's single. He's single as well.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see what Reg looks like.
I was just gonna say, go on and let's Google it.
No. Ladies, y'all hit me up and I do the matchmaking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I do the matchmaking. I'm the middleman.
So since we here, I'm gonna go ahead and plug his podcast. He has his own podcast as well.
Okay.
It's called Unapologetic the Podcast.
Okay.
You can. It's on all platforms to include YouTube, so you got a visual as well.
You say Unapologetic the
Look at him, right?
podcast?
Yes, Unapologetic the Podcast.
You caught that, Danielle? Okay.
Now, you're going to go ahead and write them down and send this and all of that. And then the ladies will hit me up, and then, I just do what I do. I just want a little small percentage. That's all.
I know.
I ain't pimping her. I ain't pimping her nothing, but I'm just saying, I just want a small percentage.
Just a little something there.
I'm here pimping on the podcast.
Now, hey, this is a pandemic. We got to get it how we can get it. So
get it how you can.
Hey, everything helps. It all adds up. So, so I want to talk tonight. Miss Danielle actually had made a post. Was it earlier this week, Danielle?
Yeah,
earlier this week?
It was this week. Mm-hmm.
And she asked the question, why do people keep attracting the same type of people in their life? And it caught my eye, and I immediately chimed in. I got a microphone for that. We definitely can chat about that because I agree. I have my pros about that that comment as well as my cons, because you've heard, all of us have heard over the years, birds of a feather flock. Whether they're good birds,
right?
Birds that kind of fly to the left, birds that kind of shake when they fly. Birds of a feather of some sort are going to flock together. So since you did initiate the post, Danielle, what was going on in your mind that day, that week? Did somebody, what brought on that post for you to make that comment that day?
So it's funny to me because, most times I post, people have a tendency to think I be talking about myself and what's going on with me.
I think, you know what, I think that's pretty
don't
much
never put my business out there.
with everybody. They always assume that when you post something that is necessarily about you, and that is not always the damn case. No.
But that's because people don't mind the business that pay them.
There you go. There you go. And one thing I like to
say that again for the people, Williams.
Me and trying to figure me out for my post, because unless it's my dog or my child, I don't put my business out there. But what did spark that question is so many other people from their post and the things that I see on their post made me question it. And you see the cycle. We in love. We post every little thing that we do. Oh, he smiled. I love him so much. This my king.
Girl.
Ain't nobody gonna treat him like me. Yada, yada, yada. Then all of a sudden she go preaching. Your children was missing for months. You was thugging it out, clubbing, all around the world, globe trotting. Now all of a sudden, old boy ain't in the picture no more. And now everything is inspirational and you back in the Bible and all that other kind of stuff. So
not back in the Bible.
Not back in the Bible.
Now all of a sudden we see all these inspirational
scriptures.
posts. You know, now you're going to church and all that other kind of stuff. So that's what made me put that out there for people to stop and say, hold on, sis. First of all, this ain't my first rodeo ride with you with this, because Lord knows I done watched every relationship you've been through. And it's the same thing over and over. And so at what point do you stop to say, what am I doing to keep attracting and to continue to get the same results over and over again?
Right.
What are your thoughts on that, William? Initial thoughts.
So when you sent me the topic, I was like, ooh, I've had this talk with myself and I've had this talk with other people because I've noticed that I tend to have, I say I have a preference. And I think that's what it is. We all have this preference of this person that we like that we like in our head, and how they, from their mannerisms to how they talk, how they walk. Like, we all have this so-called perfect person. But when we actually go out in the world and we're looking for said person, we tend to fall into this I guess you can call it a phase, or we tend to have this preference of person, and it's like you date one person, you break up with them, you date another person, and somebody in your inner circle can look at them and tell the similarities in both of the people.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's because we have that preference in the person, whether it's attitude, looks, whatever. So,
do you think we unconsciously select these people? Or, I mean, like you say, we all have somewhat of a preference when it comes to certain things that we look for in people. But do you think some things are just that we don't even realize that we're attracting or seeking in people?
I think so, because we like what we like. Like, we know what we want in a person. So we look for it. We look for those attributes in every person that we run into.
Attributes,
so
aka
red ass flags.
And that's exactly what I was going to say, because at some point now, William, at some point, if you keep seeing the same cycle and you're dating people in phases and the results are the same, we date for a while, it doesn't materialize, it's the same old, at what point do we stop?
Right.
And at what point do we analyze and take a look at self to say, self, what are you doing? And why, more importantly, why are you constantly doing this? Because I definitely agree with you. I think that we all have a preference. And I had a preference, baby. I had a preference.
Oh,
and I wasn't breaking from it. Oh, Lord have mercy.
I never had a preference because I always felt,
right.
no.
Baby, your waist size couldn't be over a certain thing. You had to be a certain height.
No.
If you played sports, you had to be on offense. You couldn't play defense. You couldn't be on the line. You had to be a running back. You had to be a receiver.
Wait, you had to be a starter. You couldn't be on the bench. You had to be a star player, a starter.
Oh, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, Texas vibes. Well, to the fellas.
What?
To the fellas. At least back there, I'm sure you'll explain to us what you've narrowed it down to now. But back then, fellas, if you played sports, you had to be the one.
The starter. You hear me?
And you did.
The star.
It was gonna be a quarterback, receiver.
Ooh, yes, that QB.
Or running back. That was it. You could be on you cannot be on the defensive line, and you cannot be on the O line.
Oh my God!
You know there are stars on the defensive side of the ball.
Are you a cornerback?
So you're not gonna take a linebacker?
I said back then. I said back then. Now I prefer linebacker.
Hell.
I said
No. I couldn't do the preference.
That's what I'm talking about.
I couldn't do the preference because I felt like I was limiting myself. Because, you have this whole pool of people, different looks, shapes, sizes, colors, all of them smell different. Yes. And if I have a preference, my pool is going to go to a little box. Because everybody's not going to be this quote unquote preference, and it's going to limit me. And I didn't like that.
The girl likes what she likes.
I didn't. I couldn't. No. And I've never been that way, and that's crazy.
Really?
I haven't. I've never been that way. I've always been the one that went off of vibes because you could be the best thing walking, but you can have the fucked up ass, shitty ass, thinking you the shit attitude, and I don't like that. So,
but see, baby, that's growth. That's growth when you get to the point that you realize that the superficial things don't matter. And you have to look at people for who they are.
Yep.
So I laughed and I joked about that because, yes, in my younger days, I had a type that I was always attracted to. And it was either a man that was athletic or he wore uniforms.
So how did those relationships work out? Were they...
I ain't with none of them.
Okay, Danielle.
That's why I had to do something different.
For the sake of conversation, how was those relationships when you think back? What was the limit, or where did the brick wall come in at when you think about it back then when it came to those preferences that you had?
Probably for me, my breaking point was my divorce. Because with my ex-husband fit the box on all of that. Now, he wasn't a football player, but he played
he had
basketball.
all those things that you liked.
He still had an athletic build and all of that. And then on top of that, he was a policeman. So then he had on another uniform, and it was it. And
he had some
the breaking
clout.
point was the divorce, and then not only that, you get to a certain point that you get tired of bumping your head. Now, how many times we gonna keep being foolish and doing the same thing over and over until you stop and you self-evaluate and you self-check, and you have to have those conversations with yourself to say you need to get it together because number one, you're getting too old.
That's when you are in a whole nother land of what we call adulthood,
right?
And you're adulting because even people, sad to say that you do that shit in your 20s. I even give you your early 30s. But if you over 35 and you still doing the same crap, still getting the same results, at what point do you not just pause? You'll survive if you don't have a boo thing or whatever.
But, because people don't like being by themselves.
They need to be by themselves because it's obvious they don't even know themselves.
William, do men have a problem being by yourself to get
some
y'all
of them do
sometimes?
Some of them do.
Some of them do. So I'll admit that I'll admit, I love companionship. Don't get me wrong, but with this previous marriage and where I'm at now, like being by myself has probably been the best thing for me because I've been able to do a lot of stuff that I wasn't able to do,
and probably got to know yourself on another level.
Right, and I've had so much peace with myself.
Yeah.
And it's helped me like just be able to live more. And I mean, of course, it takes a lot of time. It takes of course it comes with age. It comes with age, but I just realized I was like, yo, I was not happy. I wasn't happy, and it was weighing on me so much to the point where I was just. It was pretty much as if I was a zombie in my marriage, where I was just going with the flow and just doing everything to make everybody else happy. Except for myself.
It's sad that it doesn't come with age with everyone. You would think that at a certain age, people would reach a certain level of maturity, responsibility, start taking accountability, and it is sad to say that they do not.
Right.
You know, you and I talked about this on another podcast, and I told you, Tasha, that for me, 35 was kind of that sweet spot where it was like the light bulb just kicked on for me at 35. I don't know what it was, but when I hit 35, I just started looking at life and looking at things a lot differently. And I'm looking at people well into their 40s, and it's like, sit your ass down
all the way down.
Sit down somewhere.
Where they say take several seats. Yes.
Please. There's nothing wrong with being by yourself.
Nothing.
There's nothing wrong with getting to know you, because the thing is that before you can offer anybody else anything, you have to be right within yourself.
Yep.
Right.
And the only way that you can get to that point is you have to have that time alone. Now, the scary part about it is so peaceful. It's hard to get back into relationships because anything that comes along that's going to threaten that peace, I know me, I'm quick to cut it off.
You see me?
Shit, cut it off. I just disappeared.
See what? Fade into the black, right?
I will go ghost, and sometimes sometimes I'll go ghost just to make sure my head is straight.
Yeah.
But you come in disturbing my peace. Nah, we can't do that.
No,
especially not at this point in your life. I mean, we all done went through shit. We done climbed over mountains. We done walked and crawled through trenches. We ain't trying to backpedal and go through and put up with unnecessary BS that we don't have to. Hell no. No. Absolutely not. And I'm glad that I was able to be delivered. Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you. Yes, I did have my moment when, I didn't relationship hop because I was only in 2 relationships my entire adult grown life, but I didn't relationship hop, but I think I still messed up by trying to stay in it longer than I should have.
Yes, absolutely.
Which ain't no better because not only was I hurting, myself, my kids seeing unhealthy environment, and it wasn't good. So, no, you have to just sometimes sit back, take on the own responsibility that sometimes... Take accountability that you may be the problem in these relationships, because one thing about it, you are the common denominator. If you keep moving from this you are the common denominator.
But Tasha, sometimes it's tough for us to. It takes a certain level of maturity to be able to look in the mirror and to be able to self-evaluate and to really hold yourself accountable. And it's a lot easier to me in this day and age with social media and people feeling the need to impress and to feel like that validation has to come, and they're getting that validation from so many different people that it messes up their vision where they can't see things clearly, because you got too many people egging you on, not knowing that you're full of shit and that you got stuff that needs to be addressed and needs to be dealt with, and they're only perpetuating and encouraging that behavior. Because guess what? As long as I can go out here and I can post something and throw on some makeup or do a booty shot or whatever, everybody's going to tell me how great I am, and I don't have to deal with me.
Right.
So do you think, William, that if you see somebody going through that, what we'll say, phase, and you see that they really just need a moment to just be shook real hard, that real hard shake.
We gonna be shaking
That, yeah, that real hard shake. I mean, do you think some people, I know some people do have their blinders on, but then you do have some that really actually don't have no clue as the cycle that they have themselves in. I don't think some people even realize that they going through the same shit over and over. So do you think some of those people need it pointed out, and would you feel comfortable within yourself or your relationship with certain people to point it out to them?
If it's somebody I'm close with, I'll be able to pull them to the side, because if somebody that I rock with real heavy like that, I feel like we should be able to take it, hey man, let me holler at you for a minute, type deal. Or hey,
all right, y'all, she done took off the bonnet, she done took the hair out right? Down. Go ahead.
Don't be interrupting that man. Go ahead, William.
Nah, you good. She good. Hey, look, this her podcast. But no, I feel like whether my friend, I know I got friends, both male and female, that we can come to each other and pull each other to the side and be like, hey, you might want to slow down, or you might want to take a look at yourself, or you sure you want to do this type deal. Like, I have those people that will do that for me, and I can do that for them.
Yeah.
But it's up to the person that you're talking to be able to come to the realization that hey, I might need to make some changes in who I'm looking for. You know, because you can talk people to that, to you blue in the face, talk to people till you blue in the face, but
until they ready.
And until they're ready to make those changes, I mean, shit, you might just be talking just to be talking.
Right. True.
So, with you, Danielle,
open and receptive to that too, though.
Yes.
People have to be open and receptive to that feedback as well too.
And that's what I was just about to ask. Have you ever been in a situation that you tried to give someone some feedback and they declined it, or you yourself, has anybody ever tried to give you any advice or feedback?
Yeah, I you know what I do? The people that, number one, that I consider friends are people that I can go back 20, 25 years ago, and they've been around, so they know me. They get there, they get me, they know me.
Yeah.
And those relationships come from a place of love. So obviously, I got girlfriends still to this day. If I say do or act in a way that they don't feel is right, yeah, they're going to call me out, just like they know they're going to call me out. But I'm also one of those people that I don't want yes men or women in my circle, because that does not help me become a better person if all you're going to do is co-sign my BS and not call me out and challenge me to be a better version of myself. So for me, that's not a problem. But I have had people that I've had to cut off because I've given them that feedback to be like, bro, it's you. You need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. And of course you have to deal with, people not being able to accept that and not being able to take that constructive criticism. And I've had to make choices to say, well, you know what? I've given it, I've tried, I've done all that I can. And at this point, the energy that you bring around is just not energy that I want. So I just gotta love you as a friend from a distance.
And love you
let
from a
you
distance.
figure your shit out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know?
Mm-hmm. I can see that, because, I mean, I've been in situations that I've been around people, and, you know, you see them doing certain things in their life, and I'm not perfect. People go live and learn, just like I've lived and learned, trial and error. And if it's something that I think might not be going oh so well, I'm not going to say shit. I'm just going to see how long you go allow it to go on. And if I see it getting to a point that it's affecting you in more ways than one, then I'll say something. But sometimes people realize, you know, they own crap, and they'll, you know, fix it or get out of it. But then you have some, like I was saying earlier, that just don't realize that they're in a toxic relationship, environment, whatever, and you just have to pull their coattail a little bit. But I've had both. Some people I've had to, you know, pull to the side and be like, bitch, you know,
what you doing?
bitch, get it. What, Jasmine Sutter, bitch, get it together. Come on now, what? But then you have some that they seem to find a method to their madness. They realize they bullshit. They fix it, smooth it out. I ain't had to say nothing.
Yeah. William, is it different for men? Because women have a tendency to be, I mean, you know, we gonna tell our girlfriends everything. Right. So for us, it's almost like we seek the advice, the opinion, or have those, feel comfortable and vulnerable enough to where we share more of ourselves. Where for me, I feel like men are more conditioned to where it's less than being masculine to talk to your boys and be like, yeah, man, you know, yeah, old girl and this, you know.
Wait a minute, William. I need you to just take a minute and think about your circle. And even if it's yourself, have you had some of them come to Jesus meetings with your homeboys that you might have saw a tear, you wasn't sure, but
you see it down the wall crying?
Yeah. Have you ever been in that situation with like some of your peers?
To the point of crying?
Not just necessarily crying, but that you can truly see that they hurt or that they going through some shit.
I was gonna say, you know, for guys, it's really hard for us to open up, even to our closest friends. Mm-hmm. And like, but I will say this: once we open up, that means we need some help, or you know, we're looking for some help from our board, and we are entrusting them to not only listen, but to at least give us, you know, some kind of encouragement, guidance, whatever.
And and use discretion. Don't go to telling my business. Just, you know,
But most, well, I'm not even gonna say most guys. At least the people in my circle. I'll speak for me. The people in my circle, I know. I've gone to them several times and been like, "Hey, let me highlight," because with the people that I'm really close with, I think I'm the youngest. Mm-hmm. I'm the youngest in the group. Mm-hmm. And I go to them at, you know, and they're my big brothers, and I know I can hit them up at any given time, and we'll sit down and we'll chop it up. They'll give me whatever advice that they think that'll work, and we go from there.
As a man, how does that feel though? Because we have this perception that men are supposed to be, you know, void of emotion, and mm-hmm. it's not masculine to show any emotion. So help me understand, as a woman, for you to be able to say, okay, this is my circle, I trust these people, but I recognize that I need help or I need advice. How hard is that for you to open up?
Oh, that shit's hard as hell. I know for me personally, that shit is hard, because I will fucking suffer in silence.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do.
I will suffer in silence in a heartbeat, mm-hmm. and try and figure it out, just on the strength of, like you said, one, I don't, I don't want to be vulnerable. I hate being vulnerable, but I know being vulnerable helps because it gets you in the direction of where you need to go. Two, I don't want people in my business. And I think that's like the main stopper compared to everything else, because you don't want anything getting out. That's why I will say, I think that's why it's hard for men to open up to women, because we're scared that, especially in a relationship, we're scared the shit's going to get thrown back in our face.
Yeah.
If something goes awry.
If you doing something like that, first of all, you ain't dealing with no woman, because most women, they want to be able to have those conversations with their mate. Now, if she throwing shit back in your face, yeah, that's why your daddy left you at the car wash when you was 6. No, that's some petty ass shit. I told you that in confidence. Right. We were having a heart to heart, and you throw it back. That's petty. That's a low blow. Right. Yeah. Women wouldn't do that.
But yeah, when it comes to us opening up to each other, like I said, it's hard, but once we get out of that shell of that it's not masculine and things like that, like the floodgates open. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then, especially if we can sit down, especially if you got people that you can physically sit down with, talk to, share a drink, because now you got the person right there. Mm-hmm. Right. You got them physically right there. And shit, sometimes a dap and a hug can help a lot. Mm-hmm. But of course now, like for me, like my group of friends, we're all over the place. Mm-hmm. At one point, I had like 4 of them here in Kentucky, and of course, with the military, everybody had to go their separate ways. Right. So we still keep in touch. But it's like during those times that they were here, shit, I was with them jokers. If not every day, damn near every other day, damn near every weekend, and they took me in as their little brother. And so that helped me.
Up to where people, if they see the shift in the energy, or if they see in your body language or whatever, that those people are going to tap you on the shoulder and be like,
"Oh yeah, absolutely, right, absolutely," because I've had that done. They've done that with me. Like they've seen the ups and downs with me, everything, and so it's always good to have people like that in your corner to let you know, hey, we noticed that, we noticed you ain't yourself. You're not laughing and joking like you normally do. What's up? Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's all it takes. Yeah. Sometimes that's all it takes for somebody to come up to you. Hey, you good? Talk to me. Mm-hmm.
It's funny that we approach this subject, and I ain't proud to let y'all know this, but I was sitting up watching Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and but no. Hear me out.
Go ahead. Go
I don't know
on.
if you guys know that Scrappy had made a post about men and mental health, and men dealing with depression and the challenges and the pressures and things that men deal with, and not feeling as though they have outlets. And he had gotten together with a couple of the guys, and the men got together, and they literally just
let it out, put their cards on the table.
To where you have people that are saying, hey, I'm struggling in my marriage, I'm struggling with my children, my business, my finances, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do. And, and I don't think that there's enough of that for men, because number one, like I said, society, or even women, we put these expectations that it's okay for me to cry, but it's not okay for you to cry. It's okay for me to say, hey, I'm struggling with something, but it's not okay for a man to sit there and say that he's struggling with something.
I don't agree with that either. I think that door swings both ways. Both ways. We are all human. We all go through stuff, and we all handle stuff differently.
We have emotions.
Yes, we all. Whether people care to show them or not. And I had this talk with somebody else. They were like, would you rather deal with somebody who always in their feelings, or somebody who just always hard and don't never show no emotion. I'd rather be around somebody who's showing emotion, because if I'm around somebody and I can't tell if you happy, you sad, you pissed off, I mean, I need you to slam a door or something. I need to see some type. You the motherfucker that'll be on 2020 Fox News because you done blew up the whole fucking block because you ain't had no type of, you know what I'm saying? They holding everything in. Don't nobody. Right. No.
See, I think, but you know what? And it's funny because I was having this conversation with a male friend of mine. And I think that sometimes we use the term emotional incorrectly.
Yeah.
Okay? It's the display of the emotion that becomes the problem. It's not the emotion within itself. It's how they actually communicate how they feel and the things they're going through. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Because I'd much rather somebody come to me and say, like you said, Tasha, yeah, babe, I'm struggling. I'm having a hard day. I need to go hang out with the guys. I need a moment, yada, 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 versus somebody who always appears as though they have it together. When I say emotional, Tasha, as a woman, I'm talking about not you crying, but it's the over the top theatrics, if that makes any sense. You know, it's the extraness that becomes the issue and the problem. And I don't know how to verbalize it.
Okay. So for you personally,
or they too emotional. They not acting like a girl. What does that mean?
I don't know what acting like a girl would mean either.
Oh, you just said it yourself. That nigga act like a bitch.
No. Okay, first of all, if he a bitch ass nigga, that's just what he is. Now, I can't even say nothing else other. If that's what he is, and y'all know who the fuck y'all are, I ain't gotta call you out and or point a finger. And if you thinking, if you feeling some kind of way, then it's probably you. So, moving on to my next topic. So,
yeah. When
we're talking about, you know, attracting the people that we attract, would you agree? Because I agree, and I had to think about this, and I kind of hated I wrote this down, but do you think all of us have a bit of toxic in us? Just a little, maybe a splash, whether we care to admit it or not.
Girl,
I'll admit it. I got some.
What's your toxic trait, William?
That whole ghosting part.
You got.
But I will say this. I don't necessarily do it on the strength of embarrassing the person or anything like that. But if I do see, if I start seeing some red flags, I'm going to collect how Homer Simpson did it.
In the bush.
Back in the
bush.
Let me go and take a step back. Let's back it up. Back it up. But no, look, we all, like you said, we all have some type of toxic trait in our body. I don't give a fuck who you are. And your listeners, yes, to your listeners, yes, you.
You toxic.
Man, woman, child, yes, you toxic.
And just because it's not a bad thing, right, doesn't mean it's not toxic. You can have what I would say a good toxic. I have a good toxic. No. When I say good toxic, meaning my toxic thing, which always burned me in the past, is that I always try to look for the best in folks. I always try to look beyond their fault. You know, he a gangbanger, but he on bang bang. You know what I'm saying? He sag his pants. Wait, he sag his pants, but they don't sag. You know, and I set myself up every fucking time. So yeah.
Wait, Miss T. How you a gangbanger, but you
on gang. You know, he ain't.
You just gang, not
gang. He don't gang. He just gang. Yeah.
So
That's my toxic trait because it always burned me in the end. You know, even with, you know, your friends, it ain't even got to be on a romantic level. You can have, you know, these relationships that we talking about, why you attract the people you're talking about. I'm not just talking about romantically people. I'm talking about casually as well, because you can attract a certain type, you know, a chick, and you, again, I'm trying to look for the best. You know, she boost, she steal, but she don't steal. You know, she don't. She go to Macy's. Hold up. She go to Macy's. She ain't in Walmart. She in Lord and Taylor's. She ain't over here. She in Neiman Marcus. She got Neiman Marcus shit. She ain't got nothing from the Gap. She got good shit. You know, I look for...
Where she at though?
I mean, for real.
Tell me something.
You tell her what my sizes are.
Okay, meet me after the meeting. Yeah, meet me after the meeting. But yeah, you know, I always try to look for, and it always burned me in the end, you know. So that's my toxic
value, baby. You gotta take them at face value.
Yeah. I've learned that now. But that was mine.
I don't think that I'm toxic. I don't. And this is why I say that. I have things that have happened in my life that shape or form my opinion of how I deal with certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider that to be toxic, but what I call them are triggers. It's a trigger for me.
Okay, so you have toxic triggers, is what you're saying?
No, they're not.
Hilarious.
They're triggers.
You have toxic triggers.
I'll go to the person in a minute too. Now, I'm with William on that. I will. If I start seeing red flags, I am quick. So if I had to say something toxic, I'm quick to tell you that I'm not going to deal with that and I'll walk away.
Mm-hmm.
But the flip side of that, Tasha, is what you said. I also give people the benefit of the doubt when I don't need to give them the benefit of the doubt sometimes.
Give it to them.
You see what I'm saying? Now, in a relationship, anything for me to make me feel some type of way or behave or act some type of way is if I feel like people walk out on me. Because I have an issue with people. It's not you leaving, but it's how you go about it.
How you left.
Right.
So that's where I a trigger. Not time, but a trigger. Go ahead.
I got a question.
Yes, I'm single. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Have any
these little blue cans? I'm telling you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Have any of you self-sabotaged the relationship?
Yes.
On purpose?
No, it wasn't on purpose. I didn't realize that I was doing it until after I did it.
After you did it.
Right, but when I say that, William, it was... I had to take a step back from that to take a look at myself to try to figure out why I did it.
Right.
And that's why I said when it comes to me, that's why I said I call them triggers. Because if I felt myself getting to a level of vulnerability, or if I start seeing certain behaviors or actions out of people, I naturally assumed what I felt the recourse or what the outcome of that was going to be. And then, yes, I would intentionally self-sabotage, because guess what? That was my way of protecting myself.
Right.
But I had to take that step back, like you said, and spend some time by myself.
Yeah.
Figure out why I handle situations the way that I did. Like when people piss me off, I'd be like, Danielle, why you be so quick to pop off and tell people, fuck them and you don't want to deal with them no more? I had to ask myself that, because I used to not give you the benefit of the doubt, and we ain't about to talk about nothing. I'm just going to chunk the deuces and keep on going.
It moving.
And I had to ask myself, why do I handle things that way?
Right.
But why should you not?
Because every situation doesn't always
require that.
And sometimes we assume wrong.
Yeah.
And that's where communication comes in.
I haven't self-sabotaged anything.
Yeah,
I don't think I've self-sabotaged any relationships that I've been in. like I said, I've walked away from a few just on the strength of, like you said, it's kind of like me protecting myself, so to speak. So I've definitely walked away without saying shit. And of course, being a lot older and wiser now, it's like I've realized the wrongs of doing that, because it's just like, you know, sometimes all you got to do is just give people closure. Closure helps out a lot. It helps out a lot, and it saves a lot of animosity between people.
Right.
But what if you can't get that closure, or you can't get the closure that you need, or one person seeks it but one person does not?
I compartmentalize well, so if I can't necessarily get the closure,
you give it to yourself.
I'm gonna go ahead and close that bitch off myself, set it to the side.
Yeah. I've had that to happen, not even with a romantic thing. It was with the actual friendship, and it bothered me because there were questions about the friendship. I thought we were, you know, on certain terms, and actually we weren't. And I had some goddamn questions, like, all this time, you know, I'm thinking that we were one thing, and that, you know, you meant the same to me as I meant to you. And I had some fucking questions, and I never got the closure that I needed or the answers that I desired. And like you said, I had to eventually take it for what it was, let it go, close that chapter myself. Now, if I see her, I'll probably go fuck her up and hit her in her goddamn throat. But that's a whole nother episode. And but
real quick,
what you say?
That escalated quickly.
But yeah, I had to close that. Just take it for what it was. That was not something that was going to happen, and I had to just let it go. I just had to let it go.
I just realized something.
What's that?
I compartmentalize a little bit too much. That may be another topic for
you. Why you say too much?
Because I don't take myself as serious as people take themselves. If that makes any sense. Like I don't try and take myself too serious. I don't want to make myself seem like I'm more important than the next person.
I was just thinking that too. I don't take myself that serious.
Yeah, because I love, that's why I like podcasts, because I get to get on here and it could be the most fucking serious topic. And guess what? I'm going to find the funny in it.
You're going to find that.
I have a horrible sense of humor.
Yeah.
I have a dark sense of humor. And that's why I say I don't take myself so serious. And it also comes between like the friends that I kick it with. Hell, and I'm not even talking about physically here, because I barely hang around people here. But like my friends, like my inner circle that I deal with, like we talk horrible to each other. But
that's y'all love language. That's y'all.
Fun, and I realized that I can't do that with. Other people.
You can't do that with everybody.
But
you can't do that with everybody.
But yeah. So if certain things come up where people don't agree with me, or you know we have a disagreement,
you put them in a certain category.
Yeah, I'll be like, okay, I can't do this with this person. I set them right here.
That's me.
I can't do this with this person. I set them right there.
Yeah, that's
and
me.
Even when it comes to relationships, even when it came to, well, not even relationships, but at least dating. I compartmentalize. I've been having to compartmentalize because it's like I know what I like. To bring it back to the subject, I know what I like. I know what I have an idea of what I'm looking for. But
so you put them in separate compartments. Well, yeah. I'm gonna need a compartment and a department, because you know I'm gonna need So go on and set mine to the side. And
I got you. I'm going to set it to the side.
All right.
I got you. Balls, man. You just shoot your shot.
Hey, call me Jordan fourth quarter in '92. Hey,
Danielle, you should have seen her when she came on Coffee and Apple Juice, and I was maybe 2-3 episodes in with
I already know.
You ain't got no proof. You can't prove it.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Oh wait, shit! No, it was recorded. God damn.
Do I need to pull the episode?
Wait a minute! I just realized. I'm like, shit! It was recorded. Never mind. Disregard. Sorry. I forgot. Damn.
So, do I need to go pull the episode?
No, love. You don't have to do that.
But
That's
no.
not necessary. There ain't no need of bringing up old stuff. Ain't yeah. Yeah.
But like I said earlier, like I said, we have a preference, and it's funny because with my preferences, the women that I've dated are so different look wise. Like look wise, I can give you 3 women that I've dated. None of them look like what you think. If I gave you my preferences, none of
they
them
didn't look like
what you would think that I'm looking for. But they all share those qualities
Okay.
that I'm looking for.
I get you.
I want to say we tend to be drawn to those when we say that we attract what we attract. That we tend to be drawn to people that we know, that we love, like that ex, that used to do that thing that you kind of try to find somebody that mimics them or reminds you of them, or it might be somebody in your family, traits that you like, and you find yourself being drawn to those same things. Huh?
I will tell you that the men that I find myself being mostly attracted to now do have some of the traits or characteristics of my father or my brother.
Yep, I read that because, it was like it's not always about, past relationships. It could be somebody like in your family that you're trying to seek or, some of us, for women, for girls, our dad is our first love. That's like the first man that you fall in love. That is the first man you love. Yeah. And if you have a good father, and you probably heard this, Danielle, that said your daddy, if he can't do what I can do,
I was listening to Steve Harvey talk about that the other day, talking about how he raised his girls and everything that he did with his girls. Was like, and if you're not prepared to step in and do what I've done for them, then you don't need to mess with my.
You don't need to mess. No. And sometimes we try to look for that.
The older I get, I do find myself with being more attracted to men, not necessarily for the physical, but I do look for qualities that, because I'm the baby and I'm the only girl. So my older brother spent so much time, with me spending time with them, that when I do date guys, I know ain't nobody gonna love me like my brother. I know nobody was gonna protect me like my brothers.
You had some hand holding on both sides, from brother and dad.
I do find myself being more attracted to men that have qualities or personality traits that they do.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. I done got out of the whole offense, defense. I haven't received.
Although if one pulled up on you, you wouldn't turn them down. You wouldn't turn them away.
No, I mean, you know what? Honestly, I'm more attracted to guys that have been the opposite of everything that I've ever
wanted before. Yeah,
I found myself to be so completely attracted to the total or polar opposites of anything that I've ever dealt with in the past.
Because you dealt with it for so long.
Huh?
Because you dealt with it for so long that it's just like, I kind of over that.
What I was attracted to wasn't right.
Right. Well, it's just the fact that, like you dealt with it for so long, and it's just like, all right, I've tried this long enough. Let me go on the flip side.
And that's where the growth came in at, because some people don't even get to that point to realize, okay, these offensive linemen ain't working. I got to change something. They will continue to keep on going after the same person every time, no matter. They never go from the script. They just keep going. They don't change at all. Yeah. And they stay in that same circle. I know this guy that I know, and he's one of those ones that we were talking about that when I heard his story, he has never been alone.
Mm-hmm.
His alleged relationships have a 2-year maximum.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you take somebody who's in their 50s, ain't married, in a new relationship every 2 years.
He need to go to counseling. He got something to work out. I ain't even gonna, man. I ain't trying to be funny on that one. He really needs to take a sit down and kind of air some shit out.
That motherfucker need an exorcist. Let's just
those
be
are
real.
usually the ones that are not willing to look at self though, and
No.
not hold those accountable.
No.
The issue and the problem is everyone else. And when you get to the point, because just because people age don't mean that they grow and they mature.
No, they don't. And it's
You
sad
know?
to say, but no, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. And he, when I looked at, listening to him talk and seeing some of the stuff that he did in the past, he too had a type.
Mm-hmm.
And these women, how can I say this? Let's just say they weren't Miss Americas, to just put it lightly. They weren't.
We're going to take women with low self-esteem.
Exactly. He went after a certain type of woman. And it was like a pattern. And he would take her weaknesses,
They can feel
say all the right shit that they needed to hear. And then once he got what he could get, or once they realized his bullshit and they let him go, 2 weeks later, he was with somebody else.
With somebody else.
With the same damn pattern. And I had to ask him, I'm like, how is it that these women, I'm like, you do realize you the common denominator, right? I'm like, you are the one that's bouncing from relationship to relationship. These women don't know shit about each other.
Right.
But you are the common denominator. I'm like, what are you bringing to the table? Or, what are you doing in all of this? And what he was doing was destroying people more than what they were already, dealing with and battling with inside. And once he fuck up with them, he gone on to the next one.
Going on to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's because
trash. Excuse me, that's trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was about to say that's because it's easier just to not hold yourself accountable and go deal.
Right.
Don't know you,
Right.
and won't hold you or don't know enough about you to hold you accountable versus doing it.
But at what point do your grown ass? When is that not enough?
When you can't wipe your ass and you realize that you done wasted 72 years fucking off, and now you ain't got nobody there to take care of you.
You done messed around with.
Some people,
I don't like that. I don't like that. You done hold your whole life. Now, you wait till your knees bad and you need them gas station pills. Now you want to... No. I'm finna go get me another beer. Shit. Well, y'all know I'm telling the damn truth. Shit.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Am I lying? Yeah, I know what the hell I'm talking about. I ain't making this shit up. You still got these same old hoes in the club. They got that one leg crossed with them Stacey Adams on, them clear slick socks that they didn't have. Come on now.
And the linen.
And they nodding off between the songs. They've been nursing the same drink for 3 hours, but now they want to settle down. You get the fuck out of my face. Yeah. Yeah. You done destroyed all the women on the East Coast. And now, what you say, Danielle?
Talking about some of them founding fathers.
Girl. Shit. You can't move without sounding like a bowl of Rice Krispies. And now you want to... No.
Hold on now. Because see, I'm not going to let you sit there and just get on the men, because you got women out there like
yes, they do.
Now, you got some of them old saber-tooth tigers out there, too, that's been hoeing and smoking Virginia Slims all their damn lives, too.
Them Benson Hedges and, yes. Them long-ass cigarettes.
You got her baby hairs.
Girl.
Little black gel.
Them cigarettes that look like straws. Them long-ass cigarettes. Yeah.
We talking about the females too. This ain't just about men. Women do it too.
Yeah, women do it too. Yeah, women do it too.
You want a club every night, Monday through Monday, and then when somebody trying to build something with you, you can't stay in a relationship because you want a club hop, you want a casino it, you want to go to bingo, you at the card parties all night to 3:00 in the morning, and now you want to settle down. And
are you saying it's too late?
You talking about, hold up, don't bend my leg that way? No. You don't.
You better go stretch. You better do some goddamn yoga.
I was glad.
Don't bend my leg like that. That. Come on now. You got
See.
And now you ready to settle down, and he done been to the gas station, and now you don't want to help him out with the
You had 30 minutes, partner. Before they take $50 billion, you had 30 minutes.
Oh gosh!
You better go stretch. Go
soaking some Epsom salt or something.
Right,
Come on now.
I'm say that. Go soak. You better go do something because you about to get this work, man.
You about to get the business. So you can't.
About to get this whole work.
Oh my God.
But back to what we were originally talking about, though. I do believe that
put us back on the road.
At some point with all of us, you get to a certain level in life where you have to self-evaluate. And you have to look at your own patterns, your own behaviors, and you have to question some of your own decisions. And you have to get down to the root to say, like you said, Tasha, if I'm going from relationship to relationship, or my relationships are only lasting for a certain amount of time, why is that? But most importantly, not why is it, but what role did I play
right
in all of that?
Yeah.
And if you don't stop long enough to be by yourself and be comfortable being by yourself, to get yourself in order and to get yourself in check, then you're always going to perpetuate that same cycle.
You're going to be in the same cycle over and over and over.
Yep.
And then you'll look up and you be thinking you done wasted 25 damn years going in the same damn circle and like a hamster and ain't went nowhere.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So when you think about the people that you attract, whether it's socially, romantically, William, what would be your closing thoughts to those people that may or may not want to take accountability or not open to taking advice? What would you say to them?
I just told them, hey, it's your, at the end of the day, it's your decision. You're going to make, I can sit here and point out, what I see and what I may think is an issue or something that you may need to look at. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to take that step back and take a look at yourself. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you need to do or what you should do, because hell, I don't want nobody doing that for me. But I will let them know that, hey, I got your back with whatever decision that you make, and and wish you the best on whatever, on those on said decisions.
Yeah. I think I can be there, when you going through the trenches or whatever. But when you keep going through the same shit and then calling me with the same fucking story, that's when I have to.
Oh yeah. If the story's still the same, then hey, what you calling me for? That's what it's gonna go. What you calling me for?
Cause see, at this point, this is when I'm going to cuss you out because what the fuck is you doing? Like, why are you keep putting yourself in this situation?
Sometimes you have to have that, and sometimes you have to really have that type of conversation. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
What is you doing? What is you doing? Like, really? Yeah. Are you even aware of what you're doing?
But you know what? A lot of times, I don't even think that people are aware, though, and that's the sad part of it.
You know what? I would say for the
I think
majority,
it's easier when we're on the outside looking in.
I think for the majority they don't.
Shit.
But I think some people, they like that drama shit. To be honest, I really.
Some people do.
Okay, they don't think it. They don't think that it's drama.
They don't think it's drama, but they like that fucking drama.
Yep.
Yeah.
They like that damn drama. You want to be, it makes absolutely no sense to fight in the front yard with somebody. He go to jail, and then you there the next morning with Jack in the Box and an Egg McMuffin and picking his ass up. That don't even make no damn sense. And you keep going through the same shit over and over. Y'all break up every 2 weeks, then you back together. He pack up his little Sega Genesis and shit, and then he gone on, and then
But that's not drama though. Some people, that's not drama though, Tasha. Because guess what? If you grow up in an environment and those are the things that you're exposed to and the things that you see,
that's the norm. That's the norm.
Yeah, to you that's norm.
Mm-mm.
And hey, if I had to play devil's advocate, who's to say that not doing all that is the right thing?
Yeah.
Who says that the vision and the path and the choices that we choose to live in our lives are necessarily right?
Mm-hmm.
Who determines what's right and what's wrong?
But our decisions are what we deem right for us, though.
That's right. That's true.
That's the thing. So it's not what the decisions, the type of decisions that I make for a relationship may not be the same decisions that you use for your relationship.
Exactly.
So,
and I think that's where that slippery slope comes in.
Yeah.
Where, William, who am I to tell you what to do in your relationship and what decisions you need to make? Because just because it works for me, it doesn't mean that it works for you. It doesn't mean that it fits into who you are, or more importantly, what you want, what you desire, and what you're looking for out of a relationship.
right.
My thing is if the things that I'm doing consistently do not work for me, at some point in time, I need to stop. And I need to figure out, number one, why does this keep happening? And what do I do to stop this from happening going forward?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely, if you don't change certain things about yourself, then definitely the relationships that you have, they're not going to change either.
Right.
They're going to still go in the same, the same cycle. Because you can get guys, girls of a certain background, caliber, or whatever, and they can all be different traits. But your little ounce of toxic can make them turn into somebody, one, that they not. You can make something bad that could have been good just because you fucked up,
Yeah.
And again, I think that's when that time comes that you need to take a pause for the cause and just, but a lot of people are not going to do that, but I think it is very much needed. It needs to be some type of transparent, let me get my black light and scan your forehead that say this motherfucker done just got out of a relationship 30 minutes ago. Or this girl just put her daddy out, her baby daddy out last night. Don't trust her. They need some type of warning label to scan their ass to see exactly what kind of bullshit they on. So,
you know what my only beef is? I don't care what you do, cause what you eat don't make me shit. Just stop putting all that bullshit on social media.
Or bringing me in it.
Stop broadcasting it for everybody to see it.
Or calling me crying.
Relationships.
Or don't ask me what the fuck to do, then when I tell you, you don't do it.
You don't want to listen to what I have to say.
I can't stand social media, but that's another podcast for another day.
But that's where a lot of it comes from now.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me, where did I get it from? That's because that's all you see.
Yeah.
Relationships, your home is a revolving door.
Yeah.
We've been through how many relationships with
Wait a minute. I saw some post on Facebook that said this girl was like, this is my king. And somebody was like, well, this your fourth king. And it ain't even June. And you it's like, is you playing spades or are you in a relationship? Because this your fourth king you done had.
Right. You out of kings, baby.
You are.
Yes. She reneging.
Like a,
Yeah,
yeah.
Like
Yeah. So
nah, and look, she talking about them kings. Nah, baby, you got Jack, and you had Jack.
and jokers. You got jokers.
Right. Well, no, because you only got two. You only got two jokers now.
Yeah, jokers. Not joker. Jokers. With a Z. Not a S. A Z. Jokers. So, any last words, Danny, that you would like to tell the people out there before we close
I'm
off
just
this
a
mic?
firm believer of loving self and knowing who you are, understanding and recognizing your worth, but being comfortable being you and being with yourself. I think that it's important for people to be able to self-analyze and get themselves together before you make decisions that impact the lives of other people. I think that it's selfish when we don't take the time to try to better ourselves or get ourselves in order before we start bringing people continuously in our lives. So if you're constantly, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same results.
Yep.
The thing is that if your life is not going in the direction that you would like for it to do, at some point you need to stop and look at the decisions that you're making. And sometimes those decisions also mean looking at the people that you choose to have in your life, whether it is romantically, whether it's friendships and so on and so forth. You have to take that time back to be able to analyze that. And when you see patterns or changes that need to be made, don't be afraid to make those changes.
Nicely put. I think definitely a lot of us need to do more self-evaluations. I journal, and we talked about that before, just writing stuff down. You would be amazed what you will learn from yourself, because I have journals that I've had from like over 10 years. And I pulled one out and, just randomly opened it up. And I closed it because I had to look at the cover to make sure it was mine, because I knew that wasn't... I think somebody else's might have gotten mixed up in my box, because I'm like, who was this person? I had to take that moment to step back and be with myself. And it's not anything wrong with being with yourself. And I've had people to ask, well, why are you single? Because I want to be. Because I'm not ready to be in a relationship. I'm not ready to be in nobody's space. I'm not ready for nobody to be in mine. And I know if I was to go against that, I would mess it up, or I would mess you up. Either way. So it's okay to be alone. Sometimes you got to take that step back, do the little evaluation. And even if you see somebody going in the same circle, sometimes you got to say shit that people don't like. If it's, for their benefit, can save them from either hurting themselves or somebody else emotionally or whatever, say something. What they gonna do?
Right.
I mean, you can save somebody from themselves or others, because sometimes they actually don't realize what they doing.
Right.
You could be so into the motion, like you say, it seems like a norm. If that's what you grew up in, this is normal. They don't realize that it's not. So they might just need a hug and a dap, William. Just maybe they need to be shook. Not shook, but just shook. Just enough to to just bring them back to reality. So there's nothing wrong with taking that little that step back and being alone. So for those that are attracting the same people, this isn't just, romantically, it's casually. I mean, you had birds of a feather, just like I said, even at the reunion. When you think about, everybody got their little cliques, everybody drawn to who you gonna go to? You gonna go to the ones that's coming in from out of town, because you know they probably got the good weed they done brought over the state line. You know they probably, you know, they got them good jobs, not the good job, but the good jobs. So you know they finna buy cases, they finna buy the big bottles. They getting to look on the top shelf, not the bottom two shelves. So you go to where. Just like you got the Bible thumpers. You know, they over there under the tree talking about everybody and how she shouldn't have on that short ass skirt when she know all her. Yeah, everybody is going to have their little people that they are drawn to and attract to, whether it's business, personal, family-wise, work-related, whatever. So, with that being said, thank you guys, Mr. William from Kentucky, and Miss Danielle, who came out of her bonnet, y'all. And
But look, y'all, for real, before we go. William cute, y'all.
You better tell them.
How old are you? Okay, William, how old are you?
I'm 39.
How many children do you have?
One 13-year-old daughter. 13-year-old daughter.
Oh, okay, it's not a baby. Okay.
No.
How many marriages have you been in?
He's been in 2. 2.5.
I've been on Chats and Vibes. So if you want to go and listen to that episode.
Yeah, y'all, he might be toxic, but he cute. So let me know.
Wait.
A little surcharge.
Damn.
Wait.
I was just about to open up doors to the church.
Not the church. Hey.
For you, so we can get you some money for your ex.
Oh my gosh.
Keep your collection plates to the side.
Put your wallets back in your pocket.
Everybody put your wallets.
Ain't no benediction. Just go.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh, goodness, man.
I'll go back and listen to the other podcast though.
Yeah, that was a good one. He was with my one I called His Life After Divorce. I did, I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
That was actually pretty hard.
It was the male side of things after divorce.
We'll chat. I want to keep this episode going too much longer. I know you're trying to close out.
Yep. And for those who are listening, just thank you again for supporting my vibe. And until the next episode, later, y'all.